Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started because I know we have a lot to get to. Hello, welcome back. Today is September 5th, 2024. We're almost in Q4 of this year, which is kind of crazy considering how quickly it's gone. This is episode number 95. We have a really great session today. We're going to be talking about social media, particularly short form video. So think TikTok, think Instagram, touching a little bit on YouTube Shorts. My plan for today is to talk us through how one travel advisor has become extremely successful with short form video to sort of demonstrate the potential that this medium might have for advisors. So we have a lot to get to. I just want to make a couple of announcements first, and then I want to go ahead and introduce our sponsor for today's episode. A couple things I always just mention right off the bat. Speaker view is going to be the best way to watch today's episode, and you can switch into that on the top right if you haven't done so already. And then the chat is going to be opened, and we're going to do our best to sort of incorporate it as we go along today. If you have it set up in your Zoom like I do, you might have to go into the More tab on the bottom right to get into the chat and open it up, but that'll take you there. That's open. We're going to be grabbing questions, comments, all that good stuff throughout the next 45 minutes or so. A couple of plugs as well. Our last episode, which kind of fits into the same category, we did it with a couple who sort of created an immense amount of success on YouTube for their travel agency. That video, full recording, is available on our YouTube page, and we're going to drop the link to that page in the chat right now. I know I ask this every time, but again, if you're over there, please go ahead and sub to the channel, like the videos. It helps us a whole lot to keep growing these, to keep bringing you these sessions every couple of weeks or however regular we're able to bring them to you. So much appreciated for those who do that. If you want to head over there, there's a lot of content over there. There's a lot of these sessions. Again, we've done 95 of these, or this is number 95. So all of our content is available there. So if you have some time, if you have some downtime, which I know is very rare for everybody, please head over there and check that out. Our next episode, we'll be talking about something I think is going to be a theme throughout the rest of 24, and I think well into 25 too, and that's how advisors are dealing with overtourism, how clients are reacting to sort of these negative travel effects and how they're changing the way they might travel. We're going to be using the term coolcation, I think, a lot on that session, which is something I'm really excited to say over and over again. So please, if you're available, we're going to be live with that in the beginning of October 3rd. So keep that date available. We'll get marketing out for that pretty soon. We really hope to see you there as well. That's going to be a brand new topic for us, something really unique. So hopefully relevant for you as well. Okay. All right. So with that all out of the way, I want to go ahead and welcome our sponsor for today. We're so happy to have Charlotte Barham from ALG Vacations to help us kick off today's topic.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Well, I'm really excited to be here. I think this is a phenomenal topic to talk about. And at ALG Vacations, our motto is together we move people. So we strive to be true partners with our advisors. We're committed to helping you make your job easier in whatever way we can. And that's through our buying power, our support, our award-winning technology, everybody knows facts, and our marketing tools. Today's topic is on social media, and ALGV wants to make sure that we're helping you with your social media content. So that you can help build your business without having to work harder at doing that. So through our ALGV360.com page, we offer you not only ready to go social media content, where we give you pictures and a couple different caption ideas so you can post it out there. We also offer other marketing tools within that marketing toolkit. Our travel blog is another great opportunity for posting out on social media. That is what I would call shelf-stable articles. There's no promos attached to them, but they are, one that I saw recently talked about for your foodies, people who want to go down to Cancun, Riviera Maya and stay at the all-inclusives that have the best food. And it ranked those. So a lot of great things out there for you to be able to use in your marketing. So again, you can find all of our marketing information at ALGV360, but you can also find information at our website, algvacations.com. And you're going to sign into that using your VAX username and password. You already have that set up. So you just use that to sign in. And not only in there under our tools section is our ALGV360, our travel blog, our travel log, our digital brochure, and our ALGV Pro certification. As a reminder, you do need to be certified to be eligible for any giveaways, attend any FAMs or conferences that we're hosting, or even corporate sponsored events around the country. So we have a dedicated sales team and 24/7 customer care specialists here to help you. So I just want to thank everybody for joining today. I'm excited to learn more about it and what Leslie has to say, and I will turn it back over to Dan.
Thank you, Charla. And Tom dropped the link to the Vax page in the chat if anyone wants to head over there. I know we've had a lot of ALG vacations people on here. Feedback's always been great, so we're super excited to have you, Charla, and thank you for joining us today. But without further ado, I do want to go ahead and introduce our guests for today's episode. We're so excited to have Leslie Sawhook from Exclusive Travel Partners, who's based north of Cincinnati, today as our guest to talk a little bit about her journey on social media. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much, Leslie. I'm so excited to talk to you today. I think we're really going to have a great discussion.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So I was hoping you could introduce yourself to the audience a little bit. I know everyone has a unique journey. We'd like to hear a little bit about yours, your sort of career in the travel industry.
Sure. So I have been a travel professional for 15 years now. I started with a different agency, and then my husband, Tim, and I started Exclusive Travel Partners. We will celebrate our 8th year this year. So we're really excited about that. We have an amazing team of 42 agents all across the country who work for us, and we call each other the ETP family. And it's been a wonderful journey growing Exclusive Travel Partners over the years.
Yeah, and your agency is it like a one-stop fit all, Leslie? Like you sell all kinds of travel. I know a lot of people say we sell the world. That's how you put yourself?
We also sell the world. Yes, we sell the world. Absolutely.
All right, cool. So today's topic again is going to be social media, particularly short form video. I know you've had a lot of success. I was so happy to sort of get a little bit of an introduction to it earlier in the week, Leslie. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about how you got started on social media, on short form video in particular, and
sure,
was there a motivation, was there an impetus for sort of diving into this?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a home-based travel professional, the internet is our storefront. So that's always important. It's always been at the forefront of my mind. That's how people see me, find me, gain trust in me, and want to book their trips with me. So it's always been super important to me. Since I aged myself there, right? I have been in the industry for 15 years. So I always go with the tools that are available to me. So yes, I started on Facebook. And that's where, a lot of people started following me. Before that, even on different social media platforms, I would do old school travel blogs based on things, just like I would type them out and have pictures of our family. So when I opened up as a travel professional, people would follow me from that. So I've always been trying to put myself out there. And so with Facebook, I gained a nice audience. It became very evident to me that I was not just marketing to my local audience here. It became worldwide, even to Canada, out of the country and everything. But keeping up with the trends has always been very important to me. So right before COVID, I was one of the first travel professionals to dive into TikTok. And a lot of people questioned why I did that. But I do find that it has given us so much success. And we're going to dive into that here during this call. But yeah, TikTok has been absolutely fabulous for our business. And then even more recently, I along with Facebook had Instagram, but never really got a lot of leads off of Instagram. I would say only in the last 2 years or so that has really blown up for us. And even more recent, in the last 6 months to a year, Reels, those short videos, like you said, and then taking that content and cross-posting it. So I have very strong, TikTok is by far the furthest, and we get the most leads from that. But now into Reels, getting a lot of feedback from that, and then taking that same content, not all of it, but some of it, which we'll talk about, and putting that into YouTube. YouTube Shorts has been amazing, and we're getting leads from that as well.
All right, awesome. So TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, sort of in that order. I loved how you said the internet is our storefront. I think that is such a great way to look at things, particularly for people who are home based, like you mentioned, or people who might not be in a bustling community. So, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, we had a couple from YouTube who saw a lot of success, and their motivation for getting on YouTube was they were in a sort of rural community in North Florida where, it was difficult to find clients locally. So that's how they started it. And again, the internet is your storefront. I love that. All right. So just because I want to set the stage a little bit, you mentioned TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts. Do you see a
Yes.
big difference between these platforms, I guess, functionality wise or audience wise, or anything else you can sort of key in on?
I do a little bit. So with TikTok, I feel that it's interesting. We were going over our analytics, when we spoke yesterday, and I have over 250,000 followers on TikTok, but only 5% of my followers see my daily posts. So it is super important to stay relevant. So you are showing up on people's For You pages. And if I'm posting content in two different spots, to pay attention to those analytics, like for example, yesterday I put together one where it was people working out in a pool versus going to the bar, at an all-inclusive resort. And I said, there's all, different types of people for each vacation. And on TikTok, that only has 22,000 follows, views right now. But on Instagram Reels, it has 1.2 million. So just trying to figure out where my audience is and where to post things is very important. Yeah. And I may take that same content and tomorrow put that on a story on TikTok, just trying to play with the audience a little bit to see what they engage with most is the most important thing.
All right. So you're finding you're finding the algorithms are different. The audience might be different, but it seems like the algorithms are the main things that are different between the three.
Right.
And yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And for lives, because TikTok is definitely pushing lives quite a bit right now. The more you go live, the more your audience builds. And every time that I go live on TikTok, which has been a struggle for me because sometimes I don't want it's hard when you're capturing content all of the time. When you're in a live format on your phone, then you can't capture content at the same time. So I have to really make a judgment call. But I have found lately, since TikTok they're putting me into more people's For You pages, the more lives I do. So I've been trying to be intentional with that to grow, but just staying up on those trends and what the different platforms are pushing so you can stay relevant is very important.
Yeah. And then, so just for the people who might be unaware, the For You page is the feed, like your feed that's customized, but it's videos that maybe aren't through the people you follow get placed in there by TikTok.
Right, exactly. I mean, lately I was kind of discouraged recently because my views were going down. And so then I just did a deep dive, like what is trending right now, right? I follow other content creators. I go into inspiration. I'll go into my professional dashboard to see what my analytics are like. And then every single day for the first 2 hours of my morning, it is what content can I put out so that I'm reaching a new audience today, or I'm showing back on those feeds of the people who follow me. Yes. And yes, so a For You page, is when you go on to Instagram or you go on to TikTok and you're scrolling, those are things that you've liked, you've interacted with, or they just think maybe you'll like this. So they're going to put that into your feed. And that comes down to the popular sounds, the hashtags you're using, things like that is how you're going to pop up into people's feeds.
All right. So I do want to pull up your TikTok. I think we'll wait a little while to do that though, but sure. Tom, our producer, has your handles. I was going to hope he can drop those in the chat now. So people, if they want to scroll your Instagram or your TikTok while we talk a little bit, they can. So Tom, yep, he got it in there right now. Leslie, you mentioned like the 2 hours you take a day. I was hoping a couple more questions, then I think we'll get into like the process of producing content. What's your cost, I guess, when it comes to time and money for this kind of, I guess, content production?
Sure. So I am very fortunate that this is something I'm passionate about and talented at. So I do it myself. I do know a lot of travel agency owners and travel professionals who are trying to gain a bigger audience will, hire people to run their social media. So for me, it's my own time. But yes, every single morning I devote an hour or two, usually two, to posting content. And that it varies, right? Because I was just at a social media fam in Costa Rica with ALG, actually, and they have an amazing team. And I love collaborating with others. And we were talking and I said, is there an easier way? What am I missing to find these trending sounds and trending audio? And the resounding answer was, it just takes time. And it does. So every day I'll be scrolling through and saving things into my album, like, ooh, that's a great sound. Let's do that. And I follow other content creators who will give trending sounds. I do have Trend Talk, which is a free app on my phone as well. And I look at that, but I feel like that is a little dated. It's not kept as up to date. And sometimes I just play around with it. If I see a sound that I really like, I'm like, ooh, I really like that. And then it'll spark something in my mind of, oh, I have this video. Because as a travel professional, when we travel, we need to constantly be taking B-roll. I am in every destination taking video after video after video, picture after picture after picture, more video than picture. So I can splice things together and just create things. And so yesterday, when I was scrolling through in the morning, somebody that I follow had 5 trending sounds for the week. I picked one of them, and then I went into my time hop, which is huge. Every year, I mean, if you're not on time hop and you travel a lot and you're getting B-roll, you should be. But time hop every morning, that's the first thing I go to. Where was I last year? What could I repost? And it happened to be in the pool at Unico, people working out to that water aerobics. Went really nice with my sound. And I was like, you know what? There's 2 different types of people at all inclusives, the people who are going to be working out in the morning and the people who are at the swim up bar. I was like, let's go with that. And 1.2 million later on Reels, and I've gained 300 followers overnight. You know, it just takes some creativity and time. There's really no magic formula, but it just takes time and devotion and dedication and consistency. Showing up daily, multiple times a day to be relevant is so important. So important.
How difficult is that, Leslie? Like, the consistency seems to me, like, looking from the outside in, the most difficult part of this, because I know advisors are out a lot traveling, but there is a finite amount of content you might have, but it does seem like you're pressured into creating something like every day or how many times a week. It does seem like consistency would be the biggest hurdle to get over.
Yeah, it is. You definitely, I mean, but it's just so important. It's so important because there are a lot of, I don't want to say lazy, but it is. There are lazy marketing strategies out there where you can, pre-post things for a whole month and just take things from your camera roll or, and just have pictures and stuff. And there's some other formats where other agents will use, and I'll scroll through and it's like 8 agents have the exact same post. I'm like, to me, I want to stand out. If I'm seeing that, others are seeing that, and I want to be that unique voice. I told you this example the other day where we were at a resort, because I am known for my voiceovers. That's what people really like, how I voice over room tours and things like that. And we were at a resort at a pool, and there was a couple who recognized my voice, and they came over and they were like, how do I know you? Anyway, it came down, they had booked that resort because they saw my tour on TikTok. And I was like, you guys should have booked with me. But that was a wake-up call to me that I need to be more forward facing. I was like, whoa, okay, we need to switch this up a little bit. They need to know who's doing this voiceover, my profession, what I do, why they should book with me, and gain that trust. So I did pivot about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and you see my face a lot more now on my channels, and that has been successful to gain that trust and for them to realize they're booking with someone who does travel. And so when they reach out to me, they're getting that unique perspective of, oh, she's the one who was actually at that resort, and that's important.
All right, awesome. So we have we have one question.
Sure.
Cheryl just asked about, you mentioned time hop. I know that just takes you back to an old post you made, like it's like a remember when kind of thing, right?
It does. So yeah, time hop is a free app. You can link in all of your social media. So it goes to my Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, like all of them, TikTok, and also just my camera roll. And it's everything that I shot 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago to that date. And it'll just do that. TikTok also will give me a 1 year ago today in my story. So every morning I'll go on there and see, oh, where was I? I was talking to a client yesterday on the phone, and she said, where are you right now? Are you home? And I said, I'm talking to you from my backyard. She said, you fooled me. I thought you were at Unico. I was like, oh, I just went, and that's where I was last year. And that's why you're seeing that content again, because just because you posted the content once doesn't mean it can't be relevant to post again for, over 1 year's time. That's a totally different audience that you're targeting. You can put a different trending sound to it, different audio over it, and use it again.
And then the last thing I want to ask before we maybe pull up your page is, I do want to ask about sort of the return of this. Like you mentioned, a couple hours a day is not insignificant. What percentage of however you want to share this, but like percentage of leads or leads in general that you're getting from generating this kind of attention on social media?
This is so important for people to recognize and understand. People hear, oh, you're on TikTok, and they laugh it off. I am so serious about TikTok, and I will preach this till the day I die. It has been a game changer for our business. And on the first year that I was there, I was on a personal vacation. It was not a fam or anything. And we were at Unico, and I did one of my room tours with a voiceover. And we had first of all, it hit 5 million, 6 million overnight, which can happen on TikTok. You have to be prepared for that, right? But in 48 hours, we had 2,000 leads for that destination. That was free. I did not pay a dime for that advertising. And instantly I was relevant, and the amount of leads we have had from that. So I pulled the numbers, and for our agency, 60% of our leads come from social media. 40% are from repeat guests or people who found us through a different search, but usually repeat guests or referrals, you know, that kind of thing happens. But 60% for social media for a booming agency. We are doing so well this year compared to every year. Every year we're growing leaps and bounds. A lot of that is because of social media. The leads that come into our agency and the engagement on our website and LinkedIn profiles, because I can see all of those stats and I love those analytics, makes me every morning even more excited to put those 2 hours in, because I'm going to get a return on that time every time.
Yeah, I guess even me asking about consistency, when you're seeing those kind of results, it makes doing it a little a little less, I guess I'm not even gonna say painful, because you clearly enjoy it, but a little less of a drag, I guess, sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so Tom, we're going to go ahead and try to pull up Leslie's TikTok, and it's going to be difficult to play through the browser. One, because we're on Zoom right now, and two, because TikTok is clearly an app meant for your phone, so the desktop version is a little wonky. But we'll pull it up now, and hoping Leslie can talk us a little bit through this. Then Monica, I see.
Oh, I wanted to, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did want to speak to one thing. So my very pinned post at the very top, this was from the ALG Travel Advisors, who advised me to, on Instagram Reels and on TikTok, to pin an introductory post. So that is what you see there on the top left. And when you go to my Instagram, it's a different one, but introducing myself is so important. So if you get a new follower, they instantly understand who you are and what you can do for them.
Yeah, so that's why I guess that's what I want to start with. Like, just to set up here, I see you have 3 pinned posts, but the first one you just want an introduction of who you are, what you do, and why this is relevant.
Exactly. And the pinned posts, I used to only put my ones that had the highest engagement up there, but now I do it based on the destination I was at most recently. So I just came back from Costa Rica, so I have my room tour and resort tour posted there, pinned. And then I also just came back from Disney Cruise Line. They wanted me to check out Lookout Key and promote that for them. So I just put one of my higher followed ones there for Disney Cruise Line up at the top as well. And I'll rotate that through. Like, we're going to Puerto Vallarta next week, so those will be pinned here next week.
I guess the biggest thing, Tom, we can scroll down just a little bit so we can get sort of 2 columns. But the biggest thing for me, Leslie, is like some of these are the numbers of these. Some of these are wild. Like the Disney Cruise Line one is 1.1 million views. That is crazy, because I imagine that wasn't too long ago, because you mentioned you just came
Right.
too.
So this was one that I filmed about 2 cruises back. Actually, I think that was on the Disney Wish inaugural. So that's been a little bit, but I have posted that 2 times, and both times I've posted that, it has gotten over 1 million views. So I like to retag that one. But yeah, as you scroll through, you'll see, not everyone is going to hit. The one that has 183 views, I just posted before we jumped on here. But and the other one right next to it with 4,900, I posted this morning. So, it varies. The Unico one you're seeing, that was from my time hop last year. I was like, let's post that again. And then the one with the people working out in the pool is the one that has 1.3 million on Instagram Reels right now. So you never know where it's going to hit.
Yeah. So what about like creating these videos? You mentioned the other day, I was sort of pitching you like what apps you use, and you mentioned that you really create videos through the TikTok app. Like you use the TikTok tools to create. I know we've had other people on here mention a couple other programs, couple other pieces of software. Like I know CapCut is one of the most popular ones, but
sure,
you tend to use TikTok, and like how, I guess, what's the philosophy with using TikTok's app to create? And any tips for just the general creation of these videos?
Sure. So you need to find what you're most comfortable with. And I am most comfortable editing in TikTok. So I will edit everything in TikTok, and then I will save it or post it usually. If it's something that I'm only posting to a different one, then I'll just stick it I'll post it, but privately, just for myself, so I can save it. But since I have that, it's good content under a minute. That's what I try to, usually 30 seconds is my average. But I'll go in then, and I have downloaded a platform called Snaptick, which is a free app. It's actually a website that I saved as an app on my phone, but Snaptick, it's free. And so then after I have that content, I'll go into Snaptick, I'll scrub that TikTok logo off of it, and then I'll
Okay.
post it on Reels or Stories. And then recently, within the last year, I started putting those up on YouTube Shorts. And that's been very successful. I have been blown away at the amount of leads that are coming off of YouTube as well in a very short amount of time. So you're already putting the work in on the content, put them out on different platforms and see which ones hit.
So I see some questions coming in, but I just want to stick on this for a second. Leslie, you mentioned trending sounds are important. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then I know the trend, you mentioned the trending sound for maybe the all-inclusive resorts one, the 2 types of people one. We can play that maybe after, but yeah, what are trending sounds and why are they important?
Sure. They're super important because for some reason the algorithm pushes them out. So they have certain sounds that they're really pushing. From week to week, they change. It also is just what's catchy and what's trendy. So sometimes just taking that time to scroll through and you see, oh, that one had a lot of engagement. Why? And maybe it's not the best video, but that sound, you're like, oh, it's that sound. I'm going to use that sound. So then I'll just start saving them. But also following some other big accounts that you see who help grow social media. They're out there. And then every week all you have to do is like comment sound, and then they'll DM you that sound for you to be able to use. And I do that quite a bit too.
So the TikTok algorithm will notice sounds and will push them into the For You pages, or can people search by sound too? I think that might be a function. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you can absolutely search by sound. Sometimes I'll just type in trending sounds of the week, hashtag trending sounds, just to try to get to see what's new and what's out there. And I always, before I use the sound, I'm going to look because it'll put each sound in a folder so you can see all the videos that were created with that sound. And I'm going to take a minute to look at what those are. Sometimes those will give me ideas like, oh, okay, they used it for this. I'm going to use it for this. Might just be a couple words off, changing some things. But it just takes time to look through, but the trending sounds definitely help with your engagement for sure.
All right. So there was a trending sound on the all-inclusive resorts one. Is that right?
Right. So the trending sound one you see with the people working out in the pool, that was one that I actually just found. I was scrolling through TikTok and somebody said, use this trending sound, blah, blah, blah. And so I saved it. I have a ton of people on TikTok or on Instagram asking me where I got the sound. So yeah, it was just a trending one yesterday, and it just inspired me based on my time hop content that I could piece that together. And you just throw things at the wall and see what sticks based on your experience, right? And to me, it's a fun challenge. Like, oh, that's fun. Let's see who likes that. And then when it blows up, it's just so rewarding.
Yeah. So Tom, let's see if we can watch and listen to this one, and if not, we can exit out because I know again it's a bit weird trying to do this through the desktop app. Go ahead. Just
hit continue as guest. It's okay. We can do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, try it maybe one more time.
We'll try it one more time.
And I have to give my husband, Tim, a lot of credit. He shows up in my TikToks without him knowing. When we're in destination, I'll take really silly videos of him and he never knows where he's going to show up. And he showed up the other morning with that one going viral. And he was like, oh, good Lord. So I thank you, Tim, for being my subject quite a bit.
The sound for that one, Leslie, was just the music playing?
That was just the music playing as I was scrolling through. Yeah. So the sound I saved, and then I went back through my camera roll and I had the people working out, and then I had Tim in the pool, which we had actually filmed that for a different trending sound at the time, where it was like talking about hydration and an all-inclusive resort. Like, I have this kind of drink and this kind of drink. So that's why he had 3 drinks in the pool. But I thought that was funny because there are 2 different types of people at a resort: the people who are working out in the morning and the people who are hitting the bars. So just put that together.
All right, let's try one more time. All right, we can get the video down, but just hold the page up for a second, Tom. Or yeah, we can. But Leslie, I guess I just one more question, and then I want to run through. I see we got a lot in the chat. Sure. The Disney one, more than 1 million views. That one, it did pretty well too. Again, you mentioned some others didn't hit. And you mentioned it was a lot of trial and error, but like any guidance on what kind of content really does well, or like I know that's sort of the battle, but like anything you can provide there.
Yes. So paying attention to your analytics is key. Every time I can click on more data and I can see the number one thing I'm looking at is what percentage of people watched my entire video. That one in particular was 35%. And I believe the Disney Cruise Line one was like at 30%, which is honestly unheard of, that 35% of the people, knowing that only 5% actually follow you, watch the whole content. That's how you gain followers. That's how you gain momentum. So I pay attention to what did I do in that video to get people to watch the whole thing. The hook is key. Getting them to watch the whole darn thing. So there yesterday, everybody was holding on to see, oh, what's the second kind of person, right? So they saw people working out and it said there are 2 types. So they're waiting to see what that second type is. For Disney Cruise Line, some people just wanted to see, it's very rare with room tours that people have the beds all the way down. A lot of people are always like, how am I going to sleep my family of 5? So I think that's the reason that one trended for sure. And then when I was just on Disney Cruise Line, the one that's doing the best was, I said, we're on Disney Cruise Line and here's my top 5 reasons why Disney Cruise Line staterooms are the best in the industry. And then very quickly I did my 5. And that one has, I think, like 40% of the people watching the entire video. And again, only 5% of my audience who's watching it. So paying attention to those analytics and making your decisions on what you post based on that.
Yeah, and it also seems like in those videos in particular, you're giving them a reason to hang around, or you're giving them, for whatever the reason is, whether it's a joke, whether it's information. You're telling them there's more information to come and you should stick around. Okay.
I want them to wait for my entire content, hopefully engage with it, and then ideally click on it, follow me, go to my link tree, fill out a quote request, things like that. That's what I want. I want that engagement. And the more they share it with others, the more it's going to show up in other people's algorithms as well.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a second too. I think like getting people back to your agency. But let me run through a couple of these questions that came up. So for Kim, yes, this will be recorded. If you're still here, this is being recorded and we'll get you the full recording sometime tomorrow early. It'll also be on our YouTube again and on travelmarketreport.com. All right, so Monica asks, she's a newer agent. She says, any suggestions for content when you don't have a lot of your own travel content? She says she's not big enough yet either to be able to travel much to get the content. And I know you're traveling constantly, Leslie, but anything, any wisdom there?
I mean, honestly, that's tough. Luckily, we have a really supportive team. So anytime I'm in destination or any of our agents are in destination, we're very collaborative. Like I said, we call ourselves the ETP family. So we all are in it. Teamwork makes the dream work is what we always say and what you've heard many times. So we have photo circles and we share all of our things as a team with one another. So I would hope that you'd be in a collaborative team where you can share content, but to be the most successful in this industry is really trying to get yourself out there. You have to be in destination because you really do need to know things to sell things. And then once you are, just selling yourself as that, trusted professional who travels, because booking with someone who travels is very important, but having a team to lean on and sharing content is key.
Yeah, and I also realize that a lot of advisors might be in areas where there are like potentially local opportunities. You don't need to be traveling on a plane. Like you can go to a new hotel, a new restaurant, things like that. I mean, if you fall into the trap of like a New York content hole, because I'm in New York, like you can see the amount of influencers or content creators here is kind of crazy. So
yes,
I think there's some local opportunities too.
Absolutely.
All right. So Leslie, you mentioned good content is under 1 minute and your videos are actually closer to 30 seconds for TikTok. Robin asks, do you find that to be the same on Instagram Reels as well?
I do. Actually, the Instagram Reels tend to be even shorter. That 7-second to 14-second sweet spot on Instagram Reels has been really successful for me.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. And then when you're repurposing content, you said like the chain is TikTok Reels, YouTube Shorts, and you're using SnapTik for the reposts or for the editing. Do you do that all in the same day, or is that something you kind of do gradually?
It honestly depends. See, I run it for myself, so Exclusive Travel by Leslie, but I also run our social media platforms of Exclusive Travel Partners as well. So sometimes I'll do one on a reel, one on a story on a different one, and sometimes I'll hold it back. Like we're going to do TikTok today, but I've created like 5 posts in one day and I don't want to overwhelm one platform. So they'll go into drafts and then the next day but I switch it up.
We got a lot of questions, so just a few more. Are you monetizing any of your social media, or this is exclusively for leads?
The monetization has gone way down. For somebody who has over 250,000 followers on TikTok, I've made in 4 years, I've maybe made $1,000 on TikTok. I do not have the time to push product, which, believe me, my inbox is full every single day of people wanting me to push their product. I don't have time for that, and nor is that going to bring in the business that I want. So no, I really don't monetize it. I do use it to engage with other, Valentin Imperial, Riviera Maya, Majestic have been great partners with us, where they have had us, Iberostar, they've had us out in exchange for free stays for myself and our team to go out, gather social media content, to be good partners with them. So I do monetize, if you call that monetization. It's nice for my team because it usually doesn't extend just the invitation to myself. Sometimes it does, but to myself and the team to be able to go out and do that kind of content, but not straight up monetization. No, I wish.
Yeah, but even like, sorry, Leslie, you mentioned that you mentioned to me the other day that when you get the opportunity to go in destination or go on property, you respect that as an opportunity to create content. Like that's a full-time sort of, when you're there, you're
Oh my
getting
gosh,
much,
yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel so much pressure, honestly. For example, the invitation I just got from Disney this past week, I was very intentional. That was a big invite. Only 14 agents were asked on that. And so I took that very, very seriously. And I will always be a good partner. And from the minute I hit that cruise line, I am filming, posting, being a very good partner, being very, very intentional. Yes, it is. People see me on social media and they're like, oh yeah, it must be nice. Well, I am working my tail off the entire time. It does not stop. And then when I'm not filming, I'm back in my room editing, doing voiceovers, things like that. So yes, they're not vacations. They definitely are opportunities to get content, be a good partner, sell travel.
Yeah, like I know you mentioned 1 or 2 hours a day. I know people have a lot of different philosophies when it comes to time dedication for social media, but you are treating this as a huge part of your business that you do. Like you mentioned, like it is a serious thing that when you get on property, when you do trips, you need to be filming. You seem to be filming all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be a good partner in that, especially if you want to be asked back, if you want to sell that destination, because those people who are giving you those opportunities are looking at your analytics. Disney told me we're going to be looking for 2 weeks. That's important to me. I'm going to be pumping that content out for way beyond 2 weeks, but I want them to ask me back. I want to continue to have that great partnership. Absolutely.
We have so many great questions. I'm going to try to get to the most relevant ones. A couple of them are overlapping with what we had planned today anyway.
Sure.
This one I want to tackle first, and I see a good one right before it. But Kate wants to know what age range are you getting leads from, and does it vary by social media platform?
Yeah, I wrote these down and I honestly was a little floored myself. People think TikTok are tweens and millennials and all that, but no. So for my TikTok, 36% are 25 to 34 year olds. 25.8% is 35 to 44, and then 20% are 45 to 54 year olds. And they book travel, and they don't just book the cheap stuff. Sure, we get those too. But I have booked some very, very luxurious properties, big groups, destination weddings, destination vow renewals, all based on TikTok. And they tell their friends and they share your content, and that's how you grow.
Yeah. So I guess, and do you find, I know each platform sort of has its own analytics, but do you find the same on Instagram Reels, or you mentioned you're getting a lot from YouTube now too? Is that
Right, right. YouTube tends to be a little bit younger. I definitely have that more of that 25 to 34-year-old range on YouTube, but Instagram Reels is about the same. Yeah, my sweet spot is those 35 to 45-year-olds because people follow me. And I will say that is an advantage of myself. And I am happy I'm forward facing because I'm not your typical, I hate to use the word influencer, but I'm not your typical influencer. I'm not out there, gorgeous blonde in a bikini leaning on boats. That's not me. That's not who you're going to be booking with when you get me. But I do feel like I'm more relatable, especially to this age range. And 75% are women, by the way, 25% men on my platforms.
All right, awesome. That goes around. I know women are increasingly making the purchasing decision in the household too, so that kind of goes along with that as well.
Except for honeymoons. I get so many young males who find me because their brides have given them the task of booking the honeymoon. So I do have a lot of, and those are really fun to help with because they found me on social media and I kind of mom them a little bit, but a lot of them, it's their first time out of the country, and it's been really fun to help those young grooms plan their plan their honeymoon.
That is funny. I never really thought about that because I guess the female might be planning the wedding and the husband gets the future.
They give them the
future
honeymoon
husband.
and the
Yeah.
honeymoon and the DJ usually as their role.
All right. So this is something I did wanna focus on a little bit too. And again, we're the time is going fast today.
Sure.
So we have a guest asking, how do people know you're a travel agent and to book with you versus someone who's just traveling a lot? How do you promote your business part on TikTok and on other platforms?
Sure. So as I showed here a minute ago, I did put my pinned post both on the top. So that is very important. Having a call to action when appropriate is very important. I don't oversaturate that because I don't want my social media to be completely sales pitchy. I want you to follow me because you liked what you saw. So if I do have a call to action, it's at the end of a video. And then also having an active link tree or something in your bio, an easy way for people to reach out and contact you. And having your profile be relevant is so important. It should not be a picture of a dog. It should be a picture of you. If ideally a picture of you in destination, and at the top of your profile, it should say who you are so people can easily find you and search you, and what you do and what you can do for them. That should always be in your profile.
And is Linktree a free service?
It is.
Okay.
You can pay for premium. I don't.
Okay.
Mine is free.
I guess that segues into another question from the chat, Leslie. Do you pay to promote? Do you pay for any tools? Is this completely free, all of this marketing?
I have never paid to promote except for one time. Sorry, I take that back. My cousin actually worked for Facebook in advertising, and she was like, "Hey, Leslie, we have $500 a month I can give you to throw at advertising." And we did it, and we did not get a single lead off of it because I partnered with a specific partner that I will not mention, but I had to do very specific posts, and we did not get a darn thing off of it. That's the only time I've done it. Everything else has just been my blood, sweat, and tears, just getting out there every day to get in front of an audience. No, I do not pay to promote anything.
So Linktree free, Snaptic free, TikTok obviously free. This is all free. Like the biggest cost is your time and your energy.
Absolutely. And it's worth every single minute.
Awesome. So Kirsten has a question about frequency of posts. Do you set yourself to like a standard when you're doing this work, or is it sort of again when you have relevant content? Is it like what's sort of your process there?
I am a huge proponent, and I tell this of my team every day. You need to show up for your audience. I show up at least once a day. This morning, I've already posted, 2 reels, at least 2 TikTok stories on both. They're cross-posted on Facebook. I haven't put them on YouTube yet, but yes, every single day I'm posting across all the platforms in different forms. I think stories are very relevant. Going live whenever you can, once you reach those numbers that you can go live, is important. The more you're in front of your audience, the more you're reminding them of who you are, and the more opportunity you're getting new followers.
So every day, going live, will you go live even when you're in your office? Like, is that something you'll do pretty regularly as well?
So I don't like to do that. My son, who is a full-time social media manager for in the sports world, he told me, he was like, "Mom, you've got to start going live all the time. Just put a green screen behind you saying, 'Hey, I'm a travel professional. I'm here to answer your questions,' and just be at your desk working." I'm working on that. I find it hard because I am working, right? So to be looking up constantly at a live and trying to interact with an audience and engage is tough. But yes, I am intentionally trying to go live. When we were on the Disney cruise, I literally just did it for 2 hours, actually, just showing the atmosphere in the lobby for pirate night. And then when we went in to play trivia, I just kind of had it going, and the people were going nuts over the trivia, and I gained a ton of followers, and the leads were coming in. So yeah, I just always try to keep it running when I can.
How many, like, for that particular one, I guess, how many concurrent viewers would you have, or how many concurrent viewers would you say is a success when you go live?
I always engage. That's a really good question. It'll tell me, like, for that one, it said your live was 100% more successful than other people with your audience. So that's a success to me. When the leads come in, when the audience comes in, I would say for that trivia, for that 2 hours, I had around 5,000 people watching. I got about 25 new followers and about 5 leads during those 2 hours. So to me, that was worth throwing the camera on.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let me see if I can grab a few more before we wrap up. So you said your voice, like you mentioned, your voice is recognizable. Like that is such a nice story. But you mentioned the one on the resort. Do you use tools for voiceover? Shannon wants to know. Or is that just again through the TikTok app?
It's just my voice. It is through the TikTok app. I do script it out. So I will piece together my video, make sure the timing is under that 60 seconds, trying to get it closer to 30 if possible. And then I keep playing it, typing out the script, and then keep voicing it over. And then I just put it out there. Oh,
And
and
it's just
captions. I didn't say this.
okay.
Captions are key.
That's
You have to put captions on everything if it has a voiceover, or it's very, very important, because so many people are just scrolling in bed or scrolling, and they don't want to wake somebody up, or they're just doing it without audio. So having those captions on will really help your engagement as well.
Yeah, I'll sometimes watch videos while I listen to something else. So captions again, I'm completely with you on
Yeah.
that. All right. Let's see. All right. So we have someone asking about Linktree. Tom, I hope Tom can maybe send you the link in the chat right now to Linktree. All right. So just a couple more, I think, and then we will wrap up. I saw a question about LinkedIn. I also saw a question about newsletters or other marketing. Like, with the amount of success you're generating through short form video, are you investing anything in writing newsletters out, or doing, I guess, more traditional social media like posts on LinkedIn or anything like that?
I do not do LinkedIn. I just don't have time for it. I'll be honest. I feel like that's more of a younger generation looking for jobs. So I don't do that. I don't think that's where my audience is. Twitter, I hired my son there for a month one time. This is way back when, to try, because he has a huge following on Twitter. I was like, see what you can do. And he was like, Mom, this is not your audience. It's a brick wall. So stopped that right away. Yes, I forget the question. Sorry. I was writing something down because I did want to say really quickly, sorry, positivity. That is key. When I scroll through social media and I see travel professionals, so many of the times it's doom and gloom. It's talking about something negative that happened. If there was a shooting in a resort at Mexico, they're talking about them like, whoa, what are you doing? No, absolutely not. I only talk about positive things, and that's the kind of audience I want. It's so important. It shocks me every day how many travel professionals go out there and talk toxicity online. You got to keep it positive.
That is probably a really great point. Keep it positive. I'm just scanning the chat one more time. So the last question, I guess, from Shannon that I think is pretty relevant too is reading analytics. Do you have to get approved for a business account or a creator account on any of these platforms in order to get access to analytics? And how difficult are the analytics to understand?
That's a great question. So I feel bad because I don't know what you need to reach on TikTok, because I blew up so quickly on there and I've had such a large following for a while. Like, I didn't even realize that you couldn't go live without so many followers. I didn't realize that you couldn't have albums like I do on there with other followers. I honestly don't know what the minimum requirements are. I do have a business account on everything except for TikTok. TikTok, I have decided to make that personal. I don't like their business platform on there. So for me, it is personal because it's myself and my branding for our agency. So I have kept it that way. But it's very easy. You just click on more data, you click on the business dashboard. All the analytics are so easy. Nice pie graphs and bar graphs and pie charts. It's very easy to take a deep dive into.
All right. Yeah. And I know that answer is probably pretty easy to find through TikTok itself. So I did also want to ask about sort of, I've tried to put out not as many as, not as prolific as you, like not even close, but I've tried to put out some videos. Sometimes I run into problems with like copyright, or sometimes I run into problems like TikTok or Instagram Reels say this isn't appropriate to publish, even though it's not inappropriate. Like, how frustrating does that happen to you? Is it frustrating? And any advice on dealing with stuff like that when it happens?
It is frustrating. Sometimes you'll have a random person who will flag your content or submit it to TikTok. I don't know why the haters do that, but it drives me crazy. And then I have to file a thing that says why it's appropriate and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it will flag sounds and it'll delete my voiceover and my content. And it'll say this was muted due to copyright infringement. That does drive me crazy. And about 6 months to 7 months ago, I want to say, TikTok did the huge thing where they did a lot of those. And I had to go back through. I only wasted my time with the popular ones, but the ones that were popular, I did have to go back in, find a new trending sound and do a new voiceover. But usually if you're using the sounds available to you in that app, it's not an issue.
All right. So, and then just to wrap it up, and then we can end there. But obviously you seem to get success almost immediately, Leslie. Any advice for people who are putting out content, short form video content, and maybe aren't seeing the success right now? Any words of wisdom or anything you can do to motivate them to keep
Yeah.
going on this journey?
Be patient, but also have fresh eyes on you and take criticism. I have two 20-year-old children who are my biggest critics, but also my biggest fans. And they will say, Mom, what are you thinking with this? Or that was really stupid. Or they'll look at some of my agents' videos and they'll be like, why are they doing this? Or this, if you were to step back and you were to watch your own content, would you watch it all the way through? Maybe it needs to be a little shorter, because sometimes when you're creating your own content, you look at, you're like, man, that's good. I did a nice job. But then if you hand the phone to someone else and they just scroll right by it, you're like, wait, why are you scrolling? What could I have done to capture your attention? Having that feedback is very important. And then just be collaborative. When you have an opportunity to go to a destination and talk to other travel professionals, somebody who is more seasoned, we can always learn from others. I know I was just in Costa Rica and all the people there, I had the biggest following of anybody there, but boy, did I learn a lot from those other travel professionals, and we're still friends now. And, I love collaboration in this industry. I really do.
Yeah, and it's something we heard a couple weeks ago. I assume it's the same for you. Is you just got to start doing it. Like all these, I know people are asking about SnapTick, Linktree, things like that. Like that can all come later. You just got to start producing this content and then
Gotta
learning as you
start.
go. Like, yeah.
Be consistent. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Leslie, thank you so much. I really had so much fun talking to you. I hope the audience got as much out of it as I did. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, thank you again.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. I hope
Yeah.
everyone learned something and I can't wait to see everybody's social media accounts.
Yeah, please, if anyone does get inspired, please let me know, and I would love to highlight you. And then thanks again to Charla from ALG Vacation for jumping on too. We really appreciate that. And thanks everyone for coming on. We'll be back again beginning of October. Look out for that. And until then, I hope you all stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.